Hi class. With this video, I would just like to give you more in-depth information about the first essay section of your integrated research essay, the context essay. So here we go. So the purpose of the context essay, as you can see, is to explain your topic's context to readers so that they can understand why we are in a conflict about it and how the conflict has evolved. This is a very essential section of the IRE because it is the foundation for the rest of the IRE sections. So as I have said before in other discussions, that it sets the stage. And so with this, you would want to think of a reader. You would want to be addressing a reader who might not know anything about your topic. So you want to cover the who, the what, the where, the when, the how, and the why. So essentially is you're giving solid information on the topic, and as I has also said before, you are in some ways acting as the expert of the topic. So this particular essay section is a prime example of what is expository writing. So, questions to answer, and I realize that this might look a little blurry, but there is an image attached in the handout section of week 3, module 3, so you can view that there. But questions to answer, again, this is referring to the who, the what, the where, the when, the how, and the why. So who are the key players? Who are some of the organizations involved in the issue? Who are the people affected by the issue? What is the situation? What are some terms and definitions that would be beneficial for your reader to know? Consider some particular jargon or acronyms that are associated with the topic. Where? Geographic hotspots, institutions, and other organizations. Where is this issue being played out? And it's not over the entire world or over the entire United States. Maybe it's localized to New Hampshire or the Northeast or somewhere along those lines. And then the structure of your context essay section. This is, as I said, is the beginning of your IRE, so you would need to have an introduction and a body, but not a conclusion. So the first part, you should definitely take the time to introduce the conflict, give the background information, give the people who are involved, and at the very end, you just want to address the two sides, but do not go into too much detail about that because in the following essay section, which is the compare, is when you are going to clearly identify the points of agreement and disagreement for the two sides. Okay? Next are the essentials. For this particular essay section, the page length should be 3 to 4 pages. It should be in MLA 8 formatting for in-text citations and a works cited. Next week, we will have a peer review, and at the beginning of week 5 is when the essay section will be done. Just so you know, week 5 will be a bit of a hectic week because on the first day of week 5 is when your final, but not final, context essay section will be due, but we will start going right into the comparison essay section of the IRE. Also, keep in mind that with the exception of the very first paragraph or the first two paragraphs, however you want to organize it, you should aim to have 2 in-text citations per paragraph. Okay? And I think that is also stated in the 4 C's video lecture and the PowerPoint as well. So, required sources for this context essay section, you would need a Credo reference, one from Credo reference, one from Point of View Reference Center, and an organizational website. Next week, we will be having a research exercise with an organizational website, but feel free to look in the research links uh, tab that I have included in the module so you can look at some organizational websites. Keep in mind an organizational website is a .org, a .edu, it could be a .com, but it's an organizational website that focuses on one particular aspect. Procon.org is not an organizational website. Pew Researcher is not an organizational website. NPR is not an organizational website. If you have questions about that, please outreach to me. Okay, so finally, this is an important element to know. In your context essay, there should be no opinion in this essay. You are just giving the facts. Therefore, you need to not use I and not use you. You are to use a third person voice, which is he, she, the author, the organization, anything like this. You do not use I think or I feel. You do not use any of that. And the second person is you. You cannot state you are this, or you can't even say we as Americans. You can say Americans feel. So that is something to pay attention to. Okay, so again, this is just a little in-depth information on the context essay. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or post a question in the thread. Do you have a question? Post it here. Thank you, everyone.